My name is Victoria Chen, and I never imagined I'd be standing in a Boston courthouse on a gray November morning, watching my marriage of 12 years crumble in front of a judge. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead, casting harsh shadows across the worn wooden benches. Outside, rain drummed against the tall windows, matching the rhythm of my anxious heartbeat. I sat at the plaintiff's table, my hands folded tightly in my lap to keep them from shaking. Across the aisle, my soon-to-be ex-husband Marcus sat with his attorney, a shark in an expensive suit named Richard Thornton. Marcus looked confident, almost smug, his designer watch catching the light as he leaned back in his chair. He'd gained weight since we separated 6 months ago, but his eyes held the same calculating expression I'd grown to recognize. "All rise," the bailiff announced, and we stood as Judge Patricia Brennan entered. She was a woman in her 60s, with silver hair pulled into a neat bun and reading glasses perched on her nose. I'd heard she was fair, but no nonsense, which was exactly what I needed. My attorney, Ellen Rodriguez, squeezed my hand briefly. She was a sharp woman in her 40s who'd built her reputation defending women in difficult divorces. "Remember what we discussed," she whispered. "Stay calm, no matter what happens." The proceedings began with standard formalities. Marcus's attorney presented their case first, painting a picture of a marriage that had simply run its course. He made it sound so reasonable, so mutual, as if we'd both just grown apart. But that wasn't the truth. "Your Honor," Richard Thornton said, his voice smooth as silk, "my client seeks an equitable division of marital assets. Mr. Chen has been the primary breadwinner throughout this marriage, building a successful software development company that now employs 43 people. While Mrs. Chen contributed to the household, she hasn't been employed outside the home for the past 8 years. I felt my jaw clench. Hasn't been employed. As if raising our 2 daughters, managing our household, supporting Marcus's career through countless late nights and business dinners wasn't work. My client proposes a fair settlement," Thornton continued. Mrs. Chen would receive the family home in Newton, full ownership of her vehicle, and monthly alimony of $3,000 for 5 years, or until she remarries. Ellen stiffened beside me. $3,000 a month in the Boston suburbs? Marcus's company was valued at over $3 million, built on ideas we'd brainstormed together at our kitchen table. "Additionally," Thornton said, "my client requests joint physical custody of the minor children, Emma and Sophie Chen, ages 9 and 11. My heart stopped. Joint physical custody. Marcus had barely spent time with the girls in the past year, always too busy with work. I knew what this was really about. Reduced child support payments. Judge Brennan looked up. "Mrs. Chen, you and your attorney may present your response." Ellen stood, composed and confident. "Your Honor, we strongly contest this proposed settlement. The characterization of Mrs. Chen's contributions is not only inaccurate, but dismissive of the substantial role she played in building the life and business that Mr. Chen now seeks to divide so inequitably." She opened her briefcase and pulled out a thick folder. "We have documentation showing that during the first 4 years of their marriage, Mrs. Chen worked full-time as a graphic designer while managing their household finances, allowing Mr. Chen to pursue his ventures without financial stress. She designed the original logo and branding for Chen Digital Solutions, which they still use today. She provided seed money from her own savings, $25,000, that allowed him to lease his first office space." I watched Marcus's face. A muscle twitched in his jaw. "Furthermore," Ellen continued, "Mrs. Chen left her career at Mr. A. Chen's specific request as his business demands increased and he wanted someone home full-time with their children. This came at great personal cost to Mrs. Chen's career trajectory and earning potential." Judge Brennan nodded, taking notes. "What settlement are you proposing, Ms. Rodriguez?" "We believe Mrs. Chen is entitled to 50% of all marital assets, including 40% ownership stake in Chen Digital Solutions. We're also requesting primary physical custody of the minor children, with Mr. Chen receiving standard visitation and child support calculated based on his actual income." Thornton was on his feet immediately. "Your Honor, this is absurd. Mrs. Chen has no legal claim to my client's business. There was no partnership agreement, no formal arrangement." "Actually," Ellen said, her voice cutting through his protest, "we have documentation of Mrs. Chen's ongoing contributions. But more importantly, Your Honor, There's another document that supersedes all of this discussion. She reached into her briefcase again, and I felt my pulse quicken. This was the moment we'd been building toward. What document? Judge Brennan asked. Ellen pulled out a slim folder and approached the bench. A prenuptial agreement, Your Honor, signed by both parties 7 years into their marriage, when Mr. Chen's business was just beginning to show significant profit. The courtroom seemed to freeze. Marcus's face went pale, then flushed red. He leaned toward his attorney, whispering urgently. Thornton's confident expression cracked for the first time. A prenup? Judge Brennan took the folder, her eyebrows raised. 7 years into the marriage? Yes, Your Honor. Technically, it's a post-nuptial agreement, signed when the parties decided to formalize the arrangement regarding Mrs. Chen's career sacrifice and her ongoing contributions to the business. I remembered that day so clearly. We'd been sitting in a lawyer's office in downtown Boston, the summer sun streaming through windows. Marcus had been anxious about a potential business lawsuit, worried that if something went wrong, we could lose everything. I'd been 7 months pregnant with Sophie. The prenup signing had happened on a Tuesday in July, 7 years ago. Marcus had brought it up the week before, during dinner at our favorite Italian restaurant in the North End. Victoria, I need to talk to you about something important, he'd said. The Johnson deal is going through, which is amazing, but my attorney says we need to protect ourselves legally. Protect ourselves from what? I'd asked, confused. Lawsuits, creditors, business partners who might turn hostile. If something goes wrong with the company, they could come after our personal assets, the house, everything. We need legal separation between the business and our family assets. That had made sense to me then. I'd been thinking about our daughter's future, about keeping a roof over their heads. The lawyer's office had been intimidating, all dark wood and leather chairs. The attorney, Gerald Hawkins, had explained the document in detail. The prenup stated that Chen Digital Solutions would remain Marcus's separate property, but if we divorced, I would receive a settlement calculated as a percentage of the company's value. Mrs. Chen, Gerald had said, this clause here is important. It specifies that in the event of divorce, you'll receive 25% of the company's value, with a floor of $250,000 adjusted for inflation. There's also a fidelity clause. A what? I'd asked. A fidelity clause. It states that if either party commits adultery, the terms change substantially. The betrayed spouse receives 50% of all marital assets, including the business, plus full custody of any minor children, with the other party responsible for all legal fees. Marcus had tensed. Is that really necessary? Gerald had shrugged. It protects both parties and provides a strong incentive for maintaining the marriage commitment. Marcus had looked at me. Victoria, I'll never cheat on you. This is just legal language. So I'd signed it. We both had. The documents notarized and filed away. Marcus had taken me out for ice cream afterward, and the prenup had seemed like just another piece of adult responsibility. Boring, but necessary. I'd forgotten about it, honestly. It had gone into our safe deposit box, along with birth certificates and passports. Life had moved on. Sophie was born, the business grew, the girls started school. I volunteered for the PTA, drove to soccer practices and piano lessons. It wasn't until 2 years ago that things started changing. Marcus began working later hours, traveling more frequently. When he was home, he was distracted, constantly on his phone. The signs were there. New passwords on his phone. Business trips that extended with vague explanations. Perfume smell on his jacket that wasn't mine. I'd finally confronted him 6 months ago, on a cold April evening. The girls were at a sleepover. I'd been waiting up when he came home at 11:30, claiming he'd been at a client dinner. But I'd seen the charge on our credit card statement. Dinner for two at Mistral, one of Boston's most romantic restaurants. Who is she? I'd asked. He'd frozen, his face telling me everything before he spoke. Victoria, it's not what you think. Then what is it? Because I think you're having an affair. Her name was Amber Lee, 28 years old, a marketing consultant. They'd met at a conference in San Francisco 6 months earlier. It just happened, Marcus had said. Are you in love with her? I'd asked. He'd hesitated too long. I care about her, but I love you. We can fix this. But I'd known we couldn't. His hesitation revealed everything. He'd already checked out emotionally. I want a divorce, I'd said. Ellen had suggested we verify the prenup was still valid. We'd gone to the bank, opened the safe deposit box, and there it was. But we'd done more than retrieve the document. Ellen had hired a private investigator named Frank Chen. Frank had been thorough, documenting Marcus's relationship with Amber, Restaurant receipts, hotel reservations, photographs, text messages that left no doubt about their relationship. The adultery clause wasn't just enforceable, it was ironclad. Judge Brennan studied the prenuptial agreement carefully, reading through each page with meticulous attention. The silence was oppressive. I could see Marcus whispering urgently with his attorney. Finally, Judge Brennan looked up. This appears to be a valid postnuptial agreement, properly executed and notarized. Mr. Thornton, were you aware of this document? Richard Thornton stood, looking uncertain for the first time. Your Honor, my client informed me there was no prenuptial or postnuptial agreement. This is the first I'm seeing of this document. Mr. Chen, did you tell your attorney there was no such agreement? Marcus stood slowly. Your Honor, I had forgotten about it. It was signed years ago, and I didn't think it was relevant. You forgot about a legal document outlining asset division when you're filing for divorce? Judge Brennan's skepticism was evident. That seems remarkably convenient, Mr. Chen. Ellen stood. Your Honor, the prenuptial agreement contains a fidelity clause that I believe Mr. Chen was hoping to avoid disclosing. We have evidence that this clause is applicable. What evidence? Thornton demanded. Ellen nodded to me, and I pulled out the thick stack of documentation. We have substantial evidence of an ongoing extramarital affair, Ellen said. Beginning approximately 14 months ago and continuing through the present, Mr. Chen has been involved in a romantic relationship with Ms. Amber Lee. I watched Marcus's face as Ellen presented the evidence. Photographs at restaurants, hotel receipts for weekend getaways, credit card statements showing jewelry purchases, flowers, expensive dinners, text messages that left no ambiguity. One message had devastated me. Can't wait to start our real life together once this divorce is finalized. You're everything I should have had from the beginning. Judge Brennan examined the evidence silently, her expression growing stern. Mr. Chen, this evidence appears substantive. Do you deny having an extramarital affair with Ms. Amber Lee? Marcus stood there, mouth opening and closing. Finally, quietly, no. Your Honor, Thornton said, scrambling to recover. While my client acknowledges mistakes, we don't believe the fidelity clause should apply. The prenuptial agreement was signed 7 years ago under different circumstances. Mr. Thornton, Judge Brennan interrupted, her voice like ice. Your client signed a legal agreement knowing the consequences if he violated its terms. The circumstances are irrelevant. What matters is whether the agreement is valid and whether its conditions have been met. The answer to both questions is yes. She looked at the document again. The fidelity clause states that if either party commits adultery, the betrayed spouse receives 50% of all marital assets, including businesses, primary physical custody of minor children, and the adulterous party is responsible for all legal fees. Is that correct, Ms. Rodriguez? Yes, Your Honor. And you're invoking this clause? We are, Your Honor. Judge Brennan removed her glasses, fixing Marcus with a steady gaze. Mr. Chen, I've been a family court judge for 19 years. What strikes me about this case is not just that you had an affair, but that you attempted to mislead this court by failing to disclose a legally binding agreement that directly addresses your situation. Marcus looked like he wanted to disappear. You signed a document outlining consequences for adultery. You engaged in adultery. You filed for divorce seeking terms that completely ignored that document. The agreement exists, it's valid, and it will be enforced. She put her glasses back on. This hearing is continued for 30 days. However, I'm issuing a preliminary ruling. Mrs. Chen is granted temporary primary physical custody, with Mr. Chen receiving supervised visitation every other weekend until we can schedule a full custody evaluation. Your Honor, Thornton protested, supervised visitation seems excessive. Mr. Chen's priorities have clearly been elsewhere. We need to ensure he can provide a stable environment before granting unsupervised time. Additionally, Mr. Chen is to continue paying all household expenses and provide Mrs. Chen with temporary spousal support of $8,000 monthly, retroactive to separation. I felt tears prickling my eyes, but refused to let them fall. The business valuation will proceed as outlined in the post-nuptial agreement. Mr. Chen is to provide complete financial records within 14 days. Failure to comply will result in sanctions. Judge Brennan gathered her papers. This is one of the more straightforward cases I've seen. Mr. Chen, You made choices, and those choices have consequences you agreed to in writing. The prenuptial agreement will govern the division of assets in this divorce. She looked between us. I encourage you both to work toward an amicable settlement, but make no mistake, if this goes to trial, I will enforce every provision to the letter. Court is adjourned. The gavel came down with a sharp crack. As people filed out, I sat frozen, trying to process what had happened. Ellen was gathering papers, a satisfied smile on her face. Across the aisle, Marcus was hunched over. "Victoria," Ellen said softly, "we should go." As we moved toward the exit, Marcus suddenly turned. "Victoria, wait," he said. Ellen immediately moved between us. "Mr. Chen, you should speak through your attorney." "I just want to talk to my wife," he said. "Your soon-to-be ex-wife," I corrected. "And Ellen's right. We have nothing to say that can't go through our lawyers." "That prenup," he said. "I only signed it because you pressured me. You were pregnant, emotional." The audacity left me speechless, but I stepped forward, years of anger finally finding an outlet. "I pressured you? You came to me terrified your business would fail, asking me to sacrifice my career to support your dream. That prenup was supposed to protect both of us. And the fidelity clause? You insisted on that, Marcus. But I guess commitment only mattered when it was convenient." His jaw clenched. "You don't understand the pressure I was under." "I understand perfectly," I interrupted. "I understand you built that company on my sacrifices too. My designs, my ideas, my money, my labor. I understand that you looked me in the eye for months and lied. You made me doubt myself, gaslighted me, and then you tried to cheat me out of what I'm legally entitled to." Tears were streaming down my face now. "So no, Marcus. I don't feel sorry for you. You made your choices, and now you get to live with the consequences." I turned and walked away, Ellen at my side. Outside, the rain had stopped. The courthouse steps were wet, reflecting pale afternoon sun. I took a deep breath, feeling something loosen in my chest. "That was very satisfying to watch," Ellen said. "Though as your attorney, I'm supposed to discourage confrontations like that." "Sorry," I said. "Don't be." He needed to understand, you're not the same woman who signed that prenup. You're stronger now. We walked to her car. "What happens now?" I asked. "Now we wait for financial records. Once we have those, we'll get the business valued. Based on my research, Chen Digital Solutions is worth between $3 and $4 million. 50% of that, plus half of your other marital assets, we're probably looking at around $2 million for you." The number seemed surreal. "And custody? The supervised visitation is temporary, but it sends a clear message. We'll work with a child psychologist, document everything. Given his behavior and the fact that you've been the girl's primary caregiver, I'm confident we'll prevail." We reached her car. "Victoria, prepare yourself. Marcus may try to negotiate, offer you a settlement to avoid full discovery. Don't accept his first offer. We have all the leverage here." I nodded. "I trust you." "Good. Now go home to Emma and Sophie. They're what matters now." The drive back to Newton took 40 minutes. Our house sat on a quiet street lined with maple trees. My sister Rachel's car was in the driveway. She'd offered to pick up the girls from school. As I walked up the steps, the door flew open and Emma and Sophie came running out. "Mom!" Sophie threw her arms around me. Emma, more reserved, waited on the porch. I went to her, pulling her into a hug. "How did it go?" she asked quietly. "It went well, sweetheart. Everything's going to be okay." Inside, Rachel had made hot chocolate. The girls chattered about their day while I tried to focus on their stories. Rachel caught my eye and raised an eyebrow. I gave her a small nod and smile. Later, after the girls were in bed, Rachel and I sat in the living room with wine. I told her everything. "He actually tried to say he forgot about the prenup?" She laughed. "That man is such an idiot." "He underestimated me," I said. "He thought I was the same person I was when we got married. But I'm not." "No, you're not." Rachel raised her glass. "To new beginnings." The next 30 days passed in a blur of legal proceedings. Marcus's financial records revealed Chen Digital Solutions was worth nearly $4 million. But they also revealed something else. Marcus had been hiding money in offshore accounts to reduce the company's apparent value. When Ellen presented the evidence to Judge Brennan, the reaction was swift. Marcus was held in contempt. His supervised visitation was extended, and the judge ordered that not only would the prenuptial agreement be enforced, but Marcus would face additional penalties for attempting to defraud the court. The final settlement exceeded my expectations. $2.1 million, the house with all equity, my car, full primary custody of Emma and Sophie with Marcus, granted only supervised visits until he completed a parenting course and therapy. He was ordered to pay child support of $4,000 monthly until the girls turned 18, plus all their expenses. He was also responsible for my legal fees, over $100,000. This divorce is final, Judge Brennan said at our last hearing in late December, snow falling outside. The prenuptial agreement has been enforced in its entirety, with additional remedies applied due to Mr. Chen's attempt to conceal assets. This case is closed. As I walked out of that courthouse for the last time, Ellen beside me and Rachel waiting with the girls, I felt lighter than I had in years. My daughters were safe. My future was secure. That evening, I took Emma and Sophie to their favorite Italian restaurant. We ordered too much food and ate dessert first. The girls laughed, their faces bright and untroubled. "Mom," Emma said as we were leaving, "are you happy?" I thought about it, really thought about it. "Yes," I said, surprised to find it was true. "Yes, sweetheart, I really am." Outside, the city was dressed in Christmas lights, beautiful against the winter darkness. We walked through the cold together, my daughters on either side of me, and I felt something I hadn't felt in years: hope. The prenup that Marcus had once seen as his shield had become the key to my freedom, and the judge's words, "This divorce is final," weren't an ending at all. They were a beginning.